My attitude is the markets are always efficient, and the larger the cap that you go, they are ultra efficient. Wall Street coverage is, everywhere, right? You got 50 analysts saying the same thing on the same stocks. And so as you go down cap, there's more of an opportunity to find inefficiencies. And where there are inefficiencies, there are opportunities. And
Right.
while one can still miss or get blown up, um, when there's an inefficiency or a vacuum in the marketplace and you do your homework, you've got, I think, a better chance to one, make money and to make some real money.
Right.
And so in the small micro cap portion of the marketplace, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, Wall Street has basically walked away from this segment of the market and has created what I think is a great opportunity for investors like you and myself in this world. And that is where I try to focus my time. And I'm looking for companies that I can understand, and I'm looking for companies that have large market opportunities, large TAMs. I'm really less interested in small niche type of companies, because if they have a hiccup, the stock can really get hit and it's harder for it to come back. And so those companies that are addressing large TAMs, while they might have a hiccup, it could the market is so large. If their product is legit and real, and then, there's a real opportunity for it to come back.
Okay.
And
so
I
go ahead.
I try to spend my days talking to management and really get to know management. And of course, in this world that we are in, the CEOs and CFOs of these smaller cap companies that don't have any coverage, they love talking to us. They relish the opportunity to spend time with an investor who is willing to listen to their story. And so that to me is really important. And I try to get to know them. And then I also try to help advise. If I were to move forward with the stock, I do try to advise them and help them, because a lot of times these companies are clueless when it comes to marketing their story. They don't have Wall Street coverage to help them. And they need that guidance. So in an unofficial capacity and with no fees, I try to direct them, help them get that exposure in order to, get the multiple to expand and get their stock price up. So that's kind of how I go about it.
How do you find your companies? Are you using screens? Do you reading press releases? You have a network of investors you deal with that you try and bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah,
means a little of everything here.
It's primarily the network that I have. I don't run screens. I probably should, but I don't. It's really it's conferences. Like for example, LD Micro, and I'll throw a plug out to LD. They're all taped, right? So I'll go to the events or I'll watch the stream, but then I'll also go back and watch the replays of as many companies as I can. And I don't need to listen to the whole presentation. I just need 3 minutes and I can get an idea if this is a decent idea and if I want to pursue it further. And then what you do, I read your work and I watch your videos, and that's always very helpful. And then there's other conferences that focus on small and micro caps, and I try to get involved in each one. And like I said, I only need a couple of minutes to see if the idea is worth my time.
Right.
And then that's primarily how I find my ideas.
One thing I noticed about you too, you really understand financials. Really, you dig deep into the financials, right? I mean, that's a big part of what you do.
I try to, and again, I only need a couple minutes to look at the financials to see if there's something worthwhile. And so I can easily screen out companies. I'm looking for revenue growth. I'm looking for size revenue. I don't want a company with 5 million in revenues. That's a waste of my time. Even though the stock might be cheap, it's just so small that there has to be, I need a company that has a sizable enough revenue base that people will care. I don't want the company to sit in microcap purgatory for 6 months or a year or 2 years until it gets recognized. I don't
Right.
have, I don't want to wait that long. That's just not my style. I only got so much capital and I want to put it to work immediately and have it grow. So
Right.
and we've talked about this before, ideally a larger company from a revenue perspective that has fallen on hard times and the valuation is contracted and it just needs to be fixed. It just needs
Right.
to be repaired. And then if they can repair the operating business and you got the revenues, then you got an interesting situation.
Yeah.
So
I think
I was going to say, I'm sorry, I want positive revenue growth, positive EBITDA, and preferably expanding margins and preferably positive earnings.